Welcome back, dear students. Today we are going to start with the part 2 of the chapter 2 Introduction to Java. Now, students, in this part we are going to study about the traditional compilation process, and we are going to differentiate this traditional compilation process with the Java's compilation process. How Java compilation process is better than the traditional compilation process that we are going to see in this lecture. So let's start with it. What is the traditional compilation process? So a machine language version of any code, or we can call it as the object code. Now you should be familiar with the source code and object code. Okay, so a machine language version, which is called as the object code, generated by the compilation process, is specific to the platform one is compiling on. For example, students, look at this source code. Suppose I have written this source code in some high level language other than Java. Suppose I have written this source code in C language, which is a high level language. Okay. Now, so I have written this source code in C language. Okay. Now what will happen, students? And if I have three different machines, a Windows based computer, a Unix based computer, and a Macintosh based computer. So these are three different platforms that I have. Okay. So suppose I have written this source code. Okay. Now for my source code, okay, to be understood by this Windows based computer, I will require a Windows based compiler. Okay, now what will happen when this source code will go to the Windows compiler? It will generate an object code which can be only understood by this Windows based machine. This object code cannot be understood by this Unix based machine or the Macintosh based machine. Okay, and the same is true for the other two as well. If this source code, if I send this source code to the Unix based machine, okay, so this if I send this source code to the Unix compiler, then what this Unix compiler will do is that it will convert this source code into an object code which is suitable for this Unix machine, and it will not work on the Windows based computer or Macintosh based computer. So I hope now you have understand that the machine language version or the object code generated by the compilation process is specific to the platform one is compiling on. Okay, now look at this. If you were to compile your code on a Windows platform, see, if this source code is compiled on a Windows platform, the resulting program will run only on the Windows platform. Okay, to use the same program on any other platform, if you want to use this program or any other platform other than Windows, then you will need to compile the original source code with a compiler suitable for Macintosh. That means you will need this compiler. Okay, I hope you understood the traditional compilation process. So every high level language has its own compiler that converts the source code into the machine language. Okay, for example, a C compiler can be used to convert C source code only, and it cannot be used to convert the COBOL source code. Okay, students. Now let's talk about the Java compilation process. Okay, so what happened in the traditional compilation process? In traditional compilation process, an equivalent machine code is generated for that particular platform. Okay, however, on compiling a Java source code, you get a byte code. So when we write a Java source code and when we use a Java compiler to convert this source code into the machine language code, it directly does not go to the machine language code. Instead, it gets converted into an intermediate code. Sorry, it gets converted into an intermediate code which is called as the byte code. Now we will talk about this byte code later on. Okay, so what happens on compiling Java source code? You get a byte code which cannot directly be executed by the machine. It will not directly be executed by the machine. It will be executed by a virtual machine which is called as the JVM. Okay, we will talk about this JVM or Java virtual machine later on. Okay, this bytecode can be understood by the JVM only. Okay, now we'll talk about this later. Now this bytecode needs an interpreter. Okay, it needs an interpreter to convert it into the machine code of the computer on which it is to be executed. Okay, this interpreter, now this interpreter is a part of a Java virtual machine or JVM. Now look at this figure. Okay, there is an interpreter which is a part of this JVM. Okay, and there is a few more aspects like JIT, memory management. We'll talk about them later on. Okay, now a Java source code, a Java source code file. See, the code that we write in Java, okay, or the Java source code has a dot Java extension. Very important point to be noted over here. Very important point. Whenever we write a Java program or a Java source code, it has a dot Java extension. Now this Java source code goes to the Java compiler and it is converted into the bytecode file. This bytecode file has a dot class extension. So Java source code has Java source code has dot Java extension, and a bytecode, Java bytecode has dot class extension. Very important point to be noted over here. A bytecode has a dot class extension. On the other hand, a Java source code has a dot Java extension. Now see students, the source code written in Java language is compiled into the machine language. Okay, it has to be compiled now, but we had seen earlier that it gets compiled into the bytecode. Now this bytecode, see, but the machine language for the but it is a machine language for the virtual computer, which is known as the Java virtual machine. Okay, now very simply I'm going to make you understand what is happening. See, whenever we write source code, okay, whenever we write source code in Java, it has a dot Java extension. Now this source code goes to the Java compiler and gets converted into the bytecode file which has the dot class extension. Now this bytecode file is a machine code for a virtual machine which is known as the Java virtual machine. I hope now this is clear. See, the source code written in Java language is compiled into a machine language, but it is a machine language for a virtual computer known as the Java virtual machine or JVM. The machine language for the JVM or Java virtual machine is called as the bytecode, and this bytecode has the extension of dot class. I hope you understood this now. Okay, now note that different Java bytecode interpreter is needed for each type of computer, that is Windows, Unix and Macintosh. So Windows will have a different interpreter, Java bytecode interpreter. A Unix will have a different Java bytecode interpreter, and a Mac or a Macintosh based computer will have a different Java bytecode interpreter. Okay, but the bytecode will be same. Okay, if the source code is same, the bytecode will also be same. Now, however, once the computer has the required Java bytecode interpreter, it can run any Java bytecode program. Okay. Now, this is different from what we studied in the traditional compilation process, where you were to required to go back to the source code and recompile it for a different computer. Okay, the JVM also includes JIT, or which is called as just in time compiler, that compiles the selected portions of the bytecode into an executable code. Okay, the remaining code is simply interpreted by. Okay, what is an executable code? In computing, executable code or an executable file causes a computer to perform a series of instructions when it is opened. So whenever you open an executable file, all the instructions that are written inside that executable file will start to take place inside the computer as soon as you open an executable code. Okay. Now, JRE is an acronym for Java Runtime Environment. Okay. Now, this JRE contains different Java class libraries. Okay, we'll talk about them later on. Okay. The JVM, look at this entire thing is the JVM, which contains an interpreter, Java interpreter, just in time compiler or a JIT. Okay, and memory management modules also. Okay, so the JVM along with many other class libraries constitutes the JRE, or the entire thing is called as the Java Runtime Environment. Okay. Now, JDK or Java Development Kit is a software for developing Java applications. Okay. The JRE, okay. What is JRE? The Java Runtime Environment, the Java compiler, the JRE, the Java compiler, and other development tools all are contained inside the Java Development Kit. Okay, so all these things are contained inside the JDK or the Java Development Kit. Okay, in Java, the same compiled program can be run on many different types of computer. Okay, the write once run anywhere slogan is usually used in the reference to Java programs because once written they can run without any modification on all types of computer. Okay, once a Java program is written, okay, now it can run on all types of computer. You just require different uh, JVMs. Okay, now the underlying operating system makes no difference. All that you need is the corresponding JVM. You just require the JVM for that particular operating system, and the same program will be executed once written, can be executed on any platform. Okay. Java uses a combination of compilation and interpretation. Now, when you had seen the Java compilation process, you saw that it uses a combination of compilation and interpretation, both. Okay, now let's quickly, I know this was a bit difficult for you, so let's quickly recap the entire Java compilation process. Okay, see, the source code is written using the Java language. Yes, the source code is written using the Java language. The files, the source code files are saved with the .java extension. Yes, the Java source code files are saved with the .java extension. Then the .java files are compiled using the Java compiler. Okay, the compilation process generates bytecode files with .class extension. Okay, so the bytecode files have the .class extension. During the execution, now we are talking during the execution, the bytecode files are read and they are interpreted by the JVM. Okay, now you know that this JVM contains interpreter and JIT, or the just-in-time compiler. Okay, now if the selected portions of the bytecode improve the performance, they are compiled into executables at the runtime by the JVM using just-in-time compiler. Okay, now you know what are executable files. Okay, so if the selected portions of the bytecode improve the performance, then they are compiled into the executables at the runtime by the JVM by using the JIT, or just in time compiler. Okay, so this was the Java compilation process, and it is better than any other compilation process, because the traditional compilation process, because it provides us with two important things: the feature of write once, run anywhere. Okay, because of this we can say that the Java programs are platform independent. Okay, now let's quickly talk about the features of Java. Okay, the features of Java. Now, the different features that we are going to learn over here, that these features are the features that makes Java one of the most popular programming languages in the world. Okay, let's talk about the important features of the Java language. First, Java is simple and easy to learn programming language. Why? Because it is a high level language and it uses English like words, okay, which we are very familiar with, and it is easy for us humans to learn it. Okay, now Java is simple. The removal of many unreliable features of C and C++, which are the predecessors of Java, has simplified its understanding and implementation. Okay, what see, there are two languages, that these two languages, C and C++, were the languages which were used before Java. And what did Java do? The Java removed the unreliable features of C and C++, and it has simplified the understanding and implementation. Okay, now the next feature is the robust. Java is a robust and reliable programming languages. Java, it has a powerful compiler that checks for early errors during the compilation, and the interpreter checks for any runtime errors, thus eliminating situations that are error prone. Oh, sorry. Now, Java is secure. Java is secure because it allows applets to confine to the Java runtime environment only. What does this mean? That Java applets, you know what are Java applets? The internet based applications that we created using that can be created using Java are called as applets. Now the applets cannot access any other part of the computer when they are downloaded on the web browser. Applets work inside the web browser, right? Java applets work inside the web browser, so they are only limited to the web browser and they cannot access any other part of the computer. That is what makes Java very secure. Okay. Now this helps to eliminate any damage due to malicious softwares. So even if someone creates malicious means what? Something that is harmful to our computers. Okay, if someone makes any malicious programs or software using Java, okay, and if we if we install these type of malicious Java applications on a web browser, still our data inside the computer will be protected. Okay, for example, accessing passwords, finding your bank details by searching the contents of your computer. Java applets cannot do these things. Okay, that is what makes it secure. Now, object oriented. Another important feature is that Java is object oriented. Now, Java is a true object oriented programming language because it treats everything as an object. In the previous lesson, you have already studied the meaning of being object oriented. What are objects? What are classes? You have studied in the previous chapter. Java is a true object oriented programming language because it treats everything as a object. Now this feature enables us to take full advantage of object oriented programming paradigm and its capabilities of creating flexible and modular programs. So this object oriented approach is very good for programmers. Okay. Now the concept, the Java is also platform independent. Okay, the concept of write once run anywhere is one of the most important features of Java, which makes it a very powerful language. Java applications can run on any platform that has the JVM installed. So we just require the particular JVM of the platform. JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine, and we can run a Java application on any platform. This is what makes Java platform independent, and this is the most powerful feature of Java. Then Java is multi-threaded. Okay. Now Java is also multi-threaded programming language. Okay. Multi-threading works in the similar way as multiple processes run on one computer. Okay. To understand it, let's take example of a Java game. Okay. Although the game is a single program, no, the game is a program itself. Yes, it's a software, single software. Yet different threads within the game manage scores, graphics, and hundreds of other core features of the game. Now the character inside the game, the weapons that the character has, okay, all these are small threads, okay, inside the bigger single program that is the game itself. Okay, hence a single application executes multiple threads together, which enhances the capabilities of the program. Okay, so this is how the Java is a multi-threaded language. Okay, multi-threaded programming language. With this, we come to an end of this chapter. Thank you for your attention. Take care of yourself and be well.